friends. So we talk a lot about forgiveness on this channel because, well, it's important. So if you've watched some videos here and there, you have certainly heard me say that you should forgive people even when they don't deserve it, even when they haven't even apologized. Because it's not ever something that you do for them. It's something that you do for yourself, to lighten your own load, to decrease your emotional baggage, to unshackle yourself from the misdeed of that person that did you wrong. And in the interest of full disclosure, I will admit that I did not always feel this way, not even close. I thought that staying mad at the person that wronged me and holding a grudge or whatever was my way of getting back at them, or what have you. But then I realized here I was using up time and energy being mad at somebody that may or may not know that I'm upset with them, or may not even care, and may or may not have long since gotten over whatever happened. Meanwhile, I'm still over here angry. And since anger, much like hate, is an active emotion, that meant it was taking up space in my life right now over something that might have happened 10 or 15 years prior. I quickly realized that holding a grudge is not really the flex that I thought it was. The real flex was actually indifference, not caring at all. And to get there, I had to let whatever happened go. So I did. And honestly, it was one of the best things I ever did for myself. That's the, in a nutshell, reason why I encourage forgiveness so much, because it's liberating. So with that said, what if we went a little beyond that? What if, in addition to forgiving the people that wronged you, what if you took it a step further? What if you thank them? The people that hurt you, the people that broke you. Thank them. Yes, even that one. Now, before you throw your phone in trash or rage click away from the video, hear me out because I'm going to explain why. Now, just to be super clear, I am not saying that we are going to pretend that your pain didn't happen. This isn't toxic positivity. You all know I don't do that on this channel. We keep it real here. This isn't everything happens for a reason garbage either. And absolutely no one is sending a thank you card to a narcissistic ex. Please don't. That's how, horror movies start. We are talking about something deeper, something that can change how you see your past and help you take back your power in the process. So let's start with a very human truth. When someone hurts us, we want justice, or revenge, or at the very least, a dramatic monologue where we finally say, you know what, I am better off without you. We dream of perfect clapbacks. We rehearse imaginary arguments in the shower. Let's be honest, sometimes we just want them to suffer. Well, a little. Nothing too bad, just really inconvenient. But remember what I said earlier? Forgiveness is never for them, it's for you. And just like that old epithet that says, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, by saying thank you, not to their face, but in your heart, you are snatching away the power that they had over you. That power that whatever they did had over you too. Because whether or not you want to admit it, when people hurt you, they have the proverbial upper hand. They did what they did, and they probably didn't suffer for it, but you did. You're the one who stayed up all night crying. You're the one who called your bestie in hysterics. You're the one who withdrew and stayed home eating ungodly amounts of snacks while watching sad movies with your cat. Or wait, maybe that was just me. But anyway, I think you get the picture. They controlled that narrative. They held the pen that wrote the chapter of your story. That was their version. When you say thank you, you are effectively snatching that pen right back. You control the narrative now. And that means you stop living in their version, in their story, and you start writing your next chapter without them. Preferably, that chapter has a plot twist where you win the lottery a couple times in a row or something. Yeah, whatever. Now, let's not get anything twisted here. Saying thank you does not mean it's okay that you hurt me. I deserved for this to happen. It was all meant to be this way. Pain is my bestie. None. Nope. None of that. Hard pass on all of it. Here's what it does mean. I made it through to the other side despite you. I learned something about myself. I found strength I didn't know I had. You showed me what I don't ever want to tolerate again. In psychology, there is a concept called post-traumatic growth. It means that sometimes the worst things can lead to the best transformations. Not automatically and not easily, but possibly. And that possibility is where there's a lot of power. How so? Because difficult relationships often push you to change your behavior for the better. In feeling helpless, you learn to take care of yourself. In feeling used, you learn to recognize your worth. In being abused, you develop compassion. In feeling like you're stuck, you realize that there is always a choice. In accepting what was done to you, you realize that you cannot control others ever, but in surrendering the need for something that we'll never have, you can find peace, which is what you're actually seeking in the first place. What you learn and who you become is way more important than how you temporarily feel. Just to drive the point home, I'll do something that I rarely do. I'll share something personal with you. Some of the worst things that have ever happened to me have also given me the best parts of myself. A relationship that clung on to me over years and years with someone who was abusive in multiple ways taught me that there truly is a time when enough is enough. It also showed me that I was, in fact, strong enough to love someone a great deal, but still walk away from them when they were not treating me the way that I deserved. My tendency to constantly put my own needs aside in service to everyone else taught me that self-abandon doesn't actually serve anyone, but especially not me. It firmly taught me that my needs matter too, and that anyone who doesn't get that doesn't need to be around me. A different breakup with someone who I thought was safe, that person turned out to be the unsafest of all, that taught me that inside every person you think you know really well is another person that you don't know at all. It also made me realize that I have an unhealthy pattern that I had been dragging around and all over throughout my entire adulthood. So I broke that pattern by making a promise to myself that from now on, I would only choose people that fully chose me. I finally learned that mixed messages mean that person may care, but not enough to give you what you deserve. And I learned that sometimes you just have to let people lose you. That's what pain does, isn't it? It's sort of like a teacher. One you don't like, but a teacher nonetheless. I mean, let's think about it this way. Did having a toxic friend teach you the importance of having boundaries, even if they bulldozed all over yours? Did that breakup force you to finally look at your patterns, to stop people-pleasing and doubling down on effort to make up for a lack of it on their part? Did asking yourself, why am I texting someone who never texts me back unless they want something, make you stop reaching out to that person? The answer to all of those is probably yes, or at least I hope it is. So there you go. Whatever happened, it still sucks. It still hurt, but you did get something from it. And look, thanking them is not a free pass. It doesn't mean that what they did wasn't still terrible, that they didn't still wreck you. That still happened, and they are still jerks for doing it. Thanking them is just you doing a little bit of reclaiming. It's you saying, I'm not the same person you tried to break. I'm wiser, and I'm stronger, and I'm going to be just fine without you. If you are still not comfortable with the whole idea of thanking the person who hurt you, let's look at it this way. You typically say thank you when somebody gives you something, right? Like a gift. Do you know who always comes bearing gifts? Betrayal. When you suffer a betrayal, it never fades away from your life without giving you a little parting gift before it heads out. And honestly, they are unconventional gifts. You can't buy these at the mall or anything like that. And they are usually gifts you didn't know you wanted. But they're really valuable nonetheless. And some of those gifts are clarity. There is nothing quite like a betrayal to show you who is holding the knife that just made you bleed. Congratulations. You just saw who that person really is. And that gives you a clarity that I don't think I have enough words to describe. I had a breakthrough just like this when I suffered a big betrayal from somebody that I thought would never betray me. Then, some other things that I knew about them started to make a whole lot more sense when they hadn't before, and it changed how I saw that person forever. Another gift that betrayal gives you is independence. When a safety net of sorts is that you thought you had all figured out in your life gets ripped out from under you and sends you careening down towards a very deep hole, you figure out how to save yourself real fast. You find those wings to fly the hell out of there. And once you find that kind of independence, you become so much better at boundaries, so much better at being self-assured, so much better at knowing that you don't have to put up with anything or anyone that you are not okay with. Period. Ask me how I know. And one more gift, empathy. It turns out that going through hell can actually make you a lot more compassionate. This isn't true for everybody, of course. Some people only get bitter, not better. Those people, well, they still have some healing to do, no matter what they may tell you. But look, some of the strongest, kindest, most emotionally intelligent people that I know, they have been through it. They also happen to be good friends, good partners, good advice givers, and good listeners, too. That empathy that they show you in your darkest moments, that is not performative. When they say that they understand how you feel, they probably really do. So, what does a thank you like this look like in real life, not just metaphor? Well, first, let's make sure we are clear on what it does not look like. Making contact with them or reconnecting, often this just serves to reopen the wound and not much else. Remember, you don't need to speak to the person at all to thank them. And, honestly, it's better that you don't. This is especially true if the person is on the narcissistic side. Reaching out will only serve to feed their ego and turn the whole thing into being about them when it is, in fact, not. This is your healing, and you are doing it for you. So, to put it bluntly, F them. Here's what a thank you does look like. Number 1, write a letter. Say everything. Then rip it up. Burn it. Toss it dramatically in the trash. Do it with Academy Award winning energy. I know this might sound a little weird. I thought so too the first time it was suggested to me by a therapist. But I did that more than 20 years ago with something I had been carrying around for way longer than I should have. And not only did it work, but it was incredibly satisfying too. And as a footnote, that same therapist recommended another step too, which was part of my formula of letting go of the past. It was revisiting places of pain in a literal sense, as in going to some places where some things happened that I was still upset about years later. I thought this was nuts too, until I said out loud that there were 2 places in particular that I always avoided on my way home from work, even though it added like 2 extra miles to my commute. And that sounded pretty damn nutty too. So with that therapist's advice, I went to those places and I sat there in the parking lot. One I couldn't go into because it was now an abandoned building, and the other was closed. But to make a long story short, I figured out that they were not really that scary at all. In fact, sitting there, I felt nothing. Not fear, not sadness, nothing. It was a huge moment of clarity for me, and it motivated me to write that letter in the previous step, after all. Burning that thing was one of the most satisfactory things ever. Now, look, revisiting places of pain is not something I recommend for everyone unless you feel you can truly handle it. Obviously, that can be triggering for you. But if you feel like you're far enough in your healing journey that you can do this without it being detrimental, I highly recommend it. It is a symbolic gesture, sure. It doesn't change what happened, but it is a really, really good snatching back of that place's power over you. Combined with the letter, hugely liberating. Number 2, journal what you've learned. I recommend journaling to everyone, pretty much all the time. It's such a good and easy way to do a brain dump and also have something to go back and read later to see how far you've come. What should you write? Start with what you gained from the experience itself, from saying thank you. Remember the gifts we just talked about that betrayal brings with it. Write those down. Another thing to write down: what you will no longer be tolerating from your relationships or your friendships. You may already know this in your mind and in your heart, but sometimes writing it down adds a big scoop of gravitas right on top of it. Number 3, set a boundary and stick to it. Maybe the boundary is that you're never going to reconnect with this person. Maybe it's that you're going to stop creeping around on their social media or keeping up with whatever it is that they're doing. Those are good boundaries, and truthfully, friends, sometimes the most powerful thank you is just complete silence. Delete the text messages or the photos or both. Block them so you aren't tempted to creep in a weak moment, whatever it takes to keep your level of inner peace healthy. Do that. Number 4, share your story. I can tell you from experience, this step is hard, and it's one that the other person probably won't like if they catch wind of it. Oh well. Like I always say, if you want me to speak nicely about you when I'm telling my story, then you should have acted nicer. Sharing your story can be so cathartic and healing. You can pretty much rest assured that someone somewhere is walking a similar path and feels alone and angry and afraid and whatever else, knowing that they're not alone, that others have been there too, and that it does get better with time and healing could be huge for them. And if you don't know who that someone is, well, that's why the internet invented one of my favorite phrases. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but... And number 5, redefine the ending. You don't need closure from them. Closure is a myth. They cannot give that to you. Only you can give that to you. Thanking them is part of that closure. It's your mic drop, so to speak. So, to wrap things up here, why should you thank the people that hurt you? Because you're not the same person you were. You're wiser, you're stronger, you're better. You did that. You didn't choose the pain, but you did choose what you did with it. You took that pain and turned it into progress. All they did was clear the path, so to speak, even if they did it in the worst way possible. Regardless, that's what you're thanking them for. The rest, that's all you. This is how you take your power back. This is how you turn a setback into a big comeback. This is your glow up. This is how you heal. And that is something that your future self is going to thank you for big time. That's all I got for you this week. Thanks for watching and for not rage clicking away during those first few minutes. I'll see you next week. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.